الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله يا حي يا قيوم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعليه وإطراته بيرد كل من منك أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه يا حي يا قيوم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So, mashallah, the Islamic way of life, and it is a way of life. It is not just a religion of the 7 basic beliefs and the 5 pillars of Islam, which are our beliefs and practices. It is a total way of life, meaning that it is based on how did first the commandments of the Quran, and then how did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam put those commands into practice. So it is very easy. It is a simple religion. But the problem is we bring our own complexity and our own desires into our life, and we want things. Right? We want things, and we want life to be a certain way, and we want this, and we want that. But we're Muslims, right? And so, in general, I find that most people know the basics of our deen. You know, we got to pray 5 times a day, fast in the month of Ramadan, go to Hajj once in our lives. Everybody knows pretty much the basics, right? And, you know, giving money to a masjid and things like that. Everybody knows the basics. We've all heard many, many speeches, right? And in fact, one of my favorite speeches was many, many years ago. There was a brother. He was like me. He was born in this country, you know, from a Caucasian or European background. He reverted to Islam. And we were at a fundraiser at the Monroe Masjid. And this is before they were, you know, now it's a beautiful, beautiful masjid, but this is when it was just a shell at this point, still a concrete floor, you know. Beautiful place, but the building was not complete yet. So everybody was giving speeches, you know, the benefit of giving sadaqah to build a masjid. And everybody's reciting hadith and this and that, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, half-hour speeches, and, you know, we're all sitting there listening. And so this one brother who gets up, and he's, you know, European background, like myself, reverted, he just stands there and says, everybody knows that that it's good to give money to build a masjid, right? Everybody knows. You know, after A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, he says, everybody knows, right? Everybody knows we receive rewards in the akhirah, right? You know, because everybody had just given a bunch of speeches. And he goes, okay, well, you know, give money to the masjid. And then he just walks off and sits down. You know, what else needs to be said? You know, so our Friday khutbahs, they are brief reminders, right? That's what they are. They're brief reminders, but they're important because the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you know, if we miss three the Jumu'ah salat, then we're a kafir, right? So we cannot miss 3. So they're important. So we basically discuss very simple things we already know, but it is important for us to put them into practice. And I've spoken about the subject that I'm about to speak about a couple of times in the past, but it's still an important thing, you know, interest, you know, riba, you know, the either receiving it or giving it, right? And I had come to know recently, you know, within the past year or so, how prevalent it is for Muslims to be taking mortgages, to be putting things on their credit card and paying out, you know, 18 to 20%, you know, 13% interest on a monthly basis, to purchase things on Amazon and pay, you know, 6 months or a year, you know, whatever this thing is that they bought for however long, you know, and we can, you know, fool ourselves into thinking, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. You know, we can fool ourselves and say, yeah, it's okay. You know, it's just me. And I don't say that pointing at you, because on the day of judgment, I am not going to care about you. On the day of judgment, I'm only going to care about me. When that book is coming into my right or my left hand, and may Allah make it so that all of us receive our books in our right hand, Ameen. But right before, there are 3 points where we will only think of ourselves, according to the Sunnah of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, according to the Hadith of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? Once, when we are about to receive our book, when we are giving hisab, may Allah make us go to hisab with Jannah without hisab, Ameen. And we are about to cross the Pul Sirat. We will not think of anyone else but ourselves. So these are things that I hear myself say to myself, it's just me, who cares? Doesn't matter. But these are the things that I say to myself. So I'm sure we all have some version of that, right? So my point being is that interest is bad. There you go. I forgot the exact point that I was going to bring up, but interest is bad. So the point is that we have to realize that we cannot pay interest under any circumstances. We cannot pay interest, nor can we receive interest from they have these health service accounts, health savings accounts now, right? And so I have to go in once a year and see how much interest that account has. And it's usually, $1. But that means I have to take $1 and, you can give it to a non-Muslim, or you can give it to some non-Muslim organization, something like that. You have to get rid of it somehow, right? You have to get rid of it, But, that's inescapable. I can't escape that, the way the medical system is now. But as far as receiving a loan for a house, a mortgage, or a car, these are things that we absolutely can avoid. But sometimes we think to ourselves, I can't avoid it. I need that car. I need a house. No, we don't. Allah is Ar-Razak. Allah is Ar-Razak. He is the one who decides how much risk we receive. He is the one who decides our apartment, our car, even the number of breaths we take. Allah is Ar-Razak. Our job is to put our deen into practice and leave the rest in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is our job. Okay? So we should not pay or receive interest. There's if you just give me a moment. I wasn't able to prepare because I got a call. Last murder, nope. Let's see what the table of contents is. There's a beautiful hadith here. Here we go. Here's the table of contents. Beautiful hadith. Interest. Excuse me for a minute. Here we go. 64. There's a beautiful hadith here that discusses the extent of interest. Okay? Now, borrowing money is perfectly halal. I've borrowed money. Excuse me, Jazakallah khair. I've borrowed money. And when you borrow money, you must make an agreement with that person that if you die, they either forgive the debt or they take whatever asset you purchased with that money and it's now theirs, right? Unless somebody else agrees to pay it for you, blah, blah, blah. But you need to make arrangements. You can't die in debt. Okay. So considering this hadith, Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu has said, if someone who is in debt to you sends you a gift, do not take it, for it is interest. Okay? If someone who is in debt to you sends you a gift, do not take it, for it is interest. If you eat in your debtor's house, it is haram. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu said, if someone intercedes on behalf of a man and the latter sends him a gift, accepting it is haram. The verification of this is in the saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if someone intercedes for a man and the latter sends him a gift and he accepts it, he has entered through a broad gate among the many gates of riba. Abu Dawood. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his forgiveness and magnanimity in this world and in the next. So let's say we're currently in this problem. Let's say, because none of us are, well, who knows, but many of us are like me. We're in trouble. We're always in trouble, and we need help. And the first aspect of understanding that I need help is simply to say, all right, I'm in trouble. I need help. What do I do? Either, especially for a house, get out of the loan. You can't spend the next 20, 30 years paying off that money. What if you die and you still owe that money? What if you die? Same with the car. Cars nowadays are crazy expensive. $30,000, $40,000 for a car that's going to last 5 years. My car cost me $8,500. Right? My kids have cars. Same, one of their cars was like $2,000. The other one was like $2,000 or $3,000. What's with this $40,000 car? What's with these huge cars, these Audis, and what's with that? Is that the sunnah of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Spending that much money on something that's going to last you 5 years? This beautiful young man in the back there, man's a doctor. The man is a doctor. And you should see the car. He's got some Toyota or something over there. Some used Toyota. Most other doctors, including Muslim doctors, would have, some expensive SUV with this, that, and the other thing. Not this beautiful young man, right? It's just some car. I don't know what year it is. I'm not a car guy, right? But we need to do our best to get out of these loans. Because even if one says to oneself, all right, I'm this deep into hellfire because the amount of interest I'm paying. Say right now you make that intention. 12/34, December 3rd, 2020. I'm sorry, January 3rd, 2025. And you say to yourself, all right, I'm going to get out of this. And then you die, which can happen. You die. You go out to your car, something happens, we're doing your janazah. Could be my janazah. You die. But you made your intention. You realized it, you made your intention, and you were going to find out how to get out from under this loan. Allah, there's a, as we all know, I guess I'm not saying anything fancy. There's no huge scholarship here. There's nothing, I am not a scholar under any circumstances, right? If I want to speak to a scholar, I talk to Hafizah, right? I talk to my Amir over here. I talk to other people, right? So, so that's what we do. As soon as you make that intention, right? There's a chapter of the Holy Quran called Tawbah. Allah loves the Tawabin. Allah loves the Tawabin. Right? There's this beautiful hadith where a man is in the desert. We've all heard this hadith before. There's nothing we haven't heard before. A man walking in the desert, and he's got his supplies on a horse or a camel or whatever it is, and he's walking and he's tired, and he sees some shade over there. He goes, takes a nap, in the shade, wakes up, and his horse is gone, or his camel, whatever it is. And that's all his water, his food, his this, his that, everything, right? Everything is gone, and he's in the middle of the wilderness, right in the middle of the desert. He's got nothing. And he's going over on this hill and that hill looking for his horse, calling out to the horse, really worried. I mean, who among us would not be just completely, talk about anxiety, right? So he's exhausted, scared. He goes back over there to just lay down and die, right? I give up. He goes over there and falls back asleep. And he wakes up and there's his horse, right? How excited would we be? How excited would we be? Oh my God, there's my horse. Oh, yay! The relief that we would feel upon seeing our horse. Be like, yes, right? Our horse, right? Well, through this hadith, the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gives us an inkling of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala feels when we do tawbah. That is the inkling of excitement that we have about seeing that horse with all of our provision. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, again, He allows us this hadith to imagine His excitement when we do tawbah. And we do tawbah, number one, by realizing we've made a mistake, number one. Just accept it. You made a mistake. I'm wrong. Okay, time to change. Number two, to stop doing it, right? And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. Stop doing it. And number four, the third one is to never do it again, right? But we all fall off the wagon. We make mistakes. We revert, but we get back up again and do tawbah again, right? This is our job, to do our best to live this life according to the Quran and the Hadith, and in these small bayans that we give on Fridays, it is a reminder of a practical aspect of doing that. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulin bil Kareem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ma sha'allahu la quwwata illa billah. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa taratihi biyadadi kulli man minaka astaghfirullah radhi. La ilaha innahu al-hayyul qayyum wa atubu ilayhi. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Alhamdulillahi kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhihi wa azimi sultan. Wa ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Sallallahu alayhi wa ashabihi wa sallam tasliman kathira. Amma ba'd. فيا عباد الله اتقوا الله تعالى ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم واحذروا بدع والمحدثات فإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل بدعة ضلالة ثم اعلموا أن الله سبحانه وتعالى أمركم بأمر بدأ فيه ونفسه فقال سبحانه إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم بشير النذير والسراج المنير وارد اللهم عن الأربعة الخلفاء الراشدين أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن بقية الصحابة وعن التابعين وتابع التابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان وإلى يوم الدين وعنا معهم بعفوك وكرمك وإحسانك يا أرحم الراحمين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم يتذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروا على نعمه يزدكم وذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقيموا الصلاة